Everything you think you know about yourself is wrong. That's the person staring back at you in the mirror. That's not you. The body you've had all your life and always thought about how it looks, how healthy it is, and what it can't do, that's just a temporary vessel. What I'm about to reveal will completely change the way you think about identity and reveal a truth that spiritual masters have kept secret for thousands of years. Here's the breakthrough. Modern neuroscience has finally caught up with ancient wisdom, proving that consciousness exists independently of the physical brain. The implications are incredible. You are more than your thoughts, emotions, and body. You are something far more powerful, eternal, and magnificent than you ever imagined. By the time you finish watching this video, you'll understand the scientific evidence that proves your true nature. You'll also discover the exact techniques that enlightened beings use to overcome physical limitations. Most importantly, you'll learn how to access this liberating truth in your own life. But I have to warn you, once you see this reality, you can never go back to thinking that you are your body. Are you ready to discover who you really are? Let me start with something that will surprise you. Dr. Eben Alexander, a neurosurgeon trained at Harvard, experienced clinical brain death for 7 days. His brain showed no activity at all, no thoughts, no consciousness, nothing. But during those 7 days, he had the most vivid and life-changing experience of his life. He experienced a level of consciousness that was not connected to his physical brain. When he returned, Dr. Alexander shocked the medical community with a statement. Consciousness is not produced by the brain. The brain is like a filter that lets us experience the world around us. Think about that for a moment. If consciousness can exist without brain activity, what does that say about your true nature? What does that say about the limits you've accepted in your life? But here's where it gets even more interesting. Ancient spiritual traditions have been teaching this exact idea for thousands of years. India's Vedantic texts talk about the Atman, which is the true self that exists beyond the physical body. Buddhist teachings describe a consciousness that watches thoughts and sensations without being controlled by them. Christian mystics wrote about the soul being separate from the body. Now, modern quantum physics is confirming what these enlightened beings knew all along. Dr. Stuart Hameroff and Sir Roger Penrose have suggested that consciousness works at the quantum level, existing in microtubules within brain cells but not relying on them. Their research suggests that consciousness is a basic part of the universe itself, not something that comes from brain activity. This means that any limitations you have accepted about yourself based on physical appearance, age, health conditions, or bodily capabilities are based on a false identification. You've been living as a prisoner in a cell whose door was never locked. Let me tell you a story that shows this perfectly. Ramana Maharshi, one of the most respected enlightened masters of the 20th century, was dying of cancer. His followers were devastated and begged him not to leave them. His response was very meaningful. "Where can I go? I am always here." Even as his body was failing, his consciousness was completely separate from his physical form. But you don't need to be a spiritual master to understand this. There are specific techniques that can help you identify with your consciousness rather than your body. The first is what I call awareness anchoring. Close your eyes and ask yourself, who knows what I'm thinking? You might notice that someone is paying attention to your thoughts. The observer is not your thoughts, it is watching them. Now ask, who knows how I feel? Once more, there's a way to observe your emotions without being overwhelmed by them. Finally, ask, who knows where my body is? Paying attention to your body's signals helps you understand who you truly are. This awareness never gets old, never gets sick, and never feels limited by the body. It's been with you since you were born and has not changed, even though your body has changed a lot over the years. Your body today contains virtually no cells that existed 7 years ago, yet you still know this. Here's something that will change how you see yourself. Every night when you dream, you have a completely different body in the dream world. You can fly, change shape, be any age or gender, but you stay the same person through all these changes. Your true nature is a consistent identity that exists beyond your physical form. But most people don't realize this because they're fooled by the illusion of physical identification. From the moment we are born, society makes us believe that we are our bodies. We're taught to judge ourselves by how we look, to fear getting older, and to limit what we can do because of our physical limits. Throughout history, wise masters broke free from this way of thinking. They realized that identifying with the body is like an actor believing they are the character they're playing. The role is temporary, the costume is borrowed, but the actor remains the same. Now, I want to address something crucial. This doesn't mean you should neglect your body. Think of it as a special tool that helps you understand the world around you. You keep a guitar because it's a tool for making music, not because you are the guitar. You also take care of your body because it's the way you experience the world. But here's the liberating truth. When you stop identifying as the body and recognize yourself as consciousness itself, fear disappears. When you realize that aging, death, and physical limitations only affect your body, not who you really are, all that fear just goes away. This knowledge has real-life applications that will change every part of your life. When you're no longer concerned about how you look, you'll feel more confident and secure. When you're not limited by your body, you stop accepting limits that aren't real. When you realize that your true nature is consciousness itself, you tap into unlimited creative potential. I've seen people completely change their lives when they realize this. A woman in a wheelchair discovered that her disability was not the whole story. She went on to become a powerful motivational speaker. A man who was obsessed with how he looked decided that looks weren't everything. He found that he was more fulfilled than ever before. A person with a chronic illness stopped feeling like they were sick and found inner peace, even though they were facing physical challenges. But here's the thing, the Enlightenment traditions say that this realization often comes with initial resistance. The ego mind is afraid of losing its main identity. It will make people doubt, fear, and be confused. This is how they keep people from knowing what is really going on. The key is understanding that enlightenment isn't about destroying the ego or rejecting the body. It's about understanding that these are tools of consciousness, not consciousness itself. When you realize you're not the brush, you don't throw away the paintbrush. You use it more skillfully as an artist. This is why meditation practices focus on witnessing rather than controlling. When you notice your thoughts without getting caught up in them, your emotions without being overwhelmed by them, and your bodily sensations without being defined by them, you naturally become aware of your true self as pure awareness. The ancient text, the Ashtavakra Gita, states, "You are not your body, mind, intellect, or ego. You are the witness of all this, the pure consciousness itself." Modern neuroscience is now showing that what enlightened beings have always known is true. The most important part is that this isn't just an idea, it's real. When you truly understand this, your whole life changes. Physical pain doesn't go away, but you can change how you feel about it. You're not just feeling physical sensations, you're actively observing them. Aging becomes interesting instead of scary because you understand that the person observing never gets older. When you understand that your body is just a temporary vehicle for your soul, death no longer feels scary. Enlightenment reveals the ultimate truth. You are not your body, thoughts, or emotions. You are the pure consciousness that watches all these things. You are the awareness that allows all experiences to arise and then disappear. You are the unchanging observer of the ever-changing physical world. This isn't some mystical fantasy. It's the most practical realization you can have. When you stop identifying with the temporary and recognize your eternal nature, every limitation you've accepted will disappear. All fears based on bodily identification disappear. Everything you thought was permanent is actually an illusion. The wise masters of the past were not extraordinary beings with magical powers. They were ordinary people who realized an extraordinary truth. Their essential nature was pure consciousness itself. They stopped believing that they were limited physical forms and realized that they were infinite. What do I think? This is the most important thing you can learn in your lifetime. Everything else, like career success, relationships, and material achievements, are things that happen within your awareness. But when you recognize yourself as consciousness itself, you stop being affected by these temporary experiences and start creating from a place of unlimited potential. The body ages, thoughts come and go, and emotions rise and fall. But the person who sees all these changes stays the same forever. They are always free and complete. That observer consciousness is your true identity, and recognizing it is the key to genuine liberation. The journey from identifying with one's body to identifying with one's consciousness is the most significant change a person can experience. It's not about rejecting physical reality. It's about understanding your true relationship to it. You are not the wave. You are the ocean experiencing itself as a wave. You can realize this now. It didn't happen after years of meditation or after reading many books or after finding the perfect teacher. Just ask yourself, who knows these words right now? What you see, what you think, that's your true self. The enlightenment you seek isn't found in other places or times. It's the awareness that's present right now as you read these words, witness these thoughts, and observe these feelings. You are already what you are looking for. If this video made you see your true self and changed your ideas about who you are, click the subscribe button and hit the like. We're here to show you what's real and reveal the truths that can change your life. What is your experience with identifying yourself as consciousness rather than your body? Share your thoughts in the comments below. What you learn might help someone else break free from the limitations of physical identification.